On the somber occasion of Princess Diana's birthday, known as Diana Day, Prince Harry reportedly broke his long silence with a poignant statement. According to royal watchers, Harry spoke about his late mother, revealing deep emotions and perhaps offering new insights into their relationship. Critics argue that this move was strategic, aimed at reigniting public interest in the royal family during a period of scrutiny. Meanwhile, sources quoted by the tabloids claim that Meghan's conduct is under intense scrutiny. Commentators suggest that her actions since leaving the UK have been closely monitored and analysed. Supporters would say that such speculation is unfair and unwarranted, insisting that Meghan has every right to live her life away from the spotlight. However, critics argue that Meghan's decisions during her time as a working royal, particularly regarding her privacy and public appearances, continue to be questioned. As King Charles III grapples with these challenges, the situation remains tense. Some believe that Harry's comments could serve as a precursor to further revelations or even a more direct confrontation with his brother and sister-in-law. Others maintain that this is simply part of the ongoing narrative surrounding the Sussexes and their decision to step back from royal duties. You decide. Is Harry's statement a heartfelt tribute, or a calculated move in the complex game of royal politics? And what does it all mean for Meghan and her future relationship with the monarchy? As the nation marked Princess Diana's tragic passing on July 31st, the royal family was left reeling once again. But it wasn't just the Queen's untimely death that sent shockwaves through Buckingham Palace. Prince Harry's unexpected public appearance brought a fresh wave of scrutiny. Reports suggest that during this emotional day, Harry made an unprecedented statement, breaking his 3-year silence on matters related to the royal family. His words, according to royal watchers, were both poignant and powerful, resonating with those who remember Diana's legacy. Critics argue that Harry's public remarks were a direct response to ongoing speculation about Meghan and the Sussexes' future. Meanwhile, sources quoted by the tabloids claim that Meghan's recent moves have left many in the royal circle questioning her intentions. She is reportedly trying to distance herself from the monarchy, one insider stated. There are whispers of plans for a new life in California, far removed from the spotlight of London. Supporters, on the other hand, maintain that Meghan's actions stem from a desire for privacy and a fresh start. You decide. What does Harry's statement mean for the future of the royal family? And how will Meghan's decisions impact her relationship with the monarchy? The significance of Diana Day cannot be overstated. It is a day that resonates deeply with the British public, marking the anniversary of Princess Diana's tragic death on August 31st. This date serves as a poignant reminder not just of her untimely passing but also of the enduring impact she had on the nation and the monarchy. For 3 years, Prince Harry had maintained a strict silence on this somber occasion, a decision that raised eyebrows and sparked intense speculation among royal watchers. His absence from official commemorations was particularly notable given his close relationship with Princess Diana during her lifetime and his well-documented efforts to honor her memory in the months leading up to their separation. Criticizers argue that Harry's silence on Diana Day might be indicative of unresolved personal issues or a desire to distance himself further from the royal family. Supporters, however, maintain that he was simply respecting the privacy of those involved and focusing on other pressing matters. The tabloids, meanwhile, have been quick to speculate about potential skeletons in his closet, citing sources close to the prince, who claim his silence is a result of lingering tensions within the family. In an interview that broke the 3-year silence, Harry finally addressed the matter directly, stating, "Diana Day has always been a personal and emotional day for me. I wanted to take this time to reflect on her legacy and the lessons we can learn from her." His statement, while brief, was seen as a significant shift in his public demeanor, hinting at a new approach to his role within the royal family. As we move forward, the debate rages on. Did Harry's silence serve a strategic purpose or was it simply a moment of vulnerability? You decide. As Diana Day dawned, the royal world held its breath for any sign of movement from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Suddenly, their long silence was shattered as reports suggest that a rare public appearance was planned to commemorate the late Princess Diana's birthday. According to royal watchers, Harry made an unexpected statement in front of a small gathering, his words carrying more weight than they had in years. "Today," he reportedly began, "we remember not just one person, but the spirit she inspired, a spirit that lives on in all of us." Critics argue that this was a calculated move to reassert their presence and influence within the royal family. Supporters, however, claim it was simply Harry's way of honoring his late mother. The timing of the remarks was seen as particularly significant, falling exactly 3 years since their explosive exit from royal duties. Sources quoted by the tabloid suggested that this anniversary had left both Harry and Meghan with a sense of unfinished business, driving them to make a statement on Diana Day. However, commentators claim that the choice of words and the overall tone were carefully crafted to avoid direct criticism or confrontation with the monarchy. The language was measured, one insider told us, designed to evoke sympathy rather than anger. As for Meghan's move, reports suggest she had been quietly working behind the scenes to ensure her husband's statement was as impactful as possible. Some claim that she orchestrated the event to create a narrative of unity and remembrance, while others argue it was merely an attempt to soften their public image after months of speculation. The royal watchers are divided on whether this gesture marks a new beginning or simply another chapter in the ongoing saga of Harry and Meghan's relationship with the crown. You decide, was Diana Day merely a moment of personal reflection, or did it hold deeper implications for the future of the Sussexes within the royal family? In the shadow of a nation's somber observance, Prince Harry made his first public statement in 3 years on Princess Diana's anniversary. The timing is more than symbolic, it hits at a nerve that has been raw for both supporters and critics alike. According to royal watchers, the silence from Harry was palpable, it seemed as though he had withdrawn from the spotlight entirely. Yet, his words cut through the silence like a sharp blade. Reports suggest Harry's statement was prepared with great care, knowing that every word would be scrutinized for its impact. For those who view him as a beacon of truth and redemption, this moment is laden with emotional weight. They argue, Harry has always been seen as a voice of conscience within the royal family, and his silence had left many wondering if he was still committed to reforming the institution from within. His return to the public eye on such a significant date could signal a shift in his approach. Critics, however, have their own theories. Sources quoted by the tabloids claim that Harry's statement is part of a larger strategy to reshape perceptions about the royal family. They suggest Harry's move might be an attempt to distance himself from Meghan and highlight his own contributions, especially as he prepares for his role as a senior member of the monarchy. Meanwhile, supporters of Meghan and Harry see this as an opportunity for reconciliation. They argue that any public statement by either would be met with skepticism, but if both were to come forward together, it could pave the way for healing. You decide, they say, whether this is a step towards unity or another wedge between the Sussexes and the British monarchy. The weight of Harry's words lingers in the air, as the nation watches closely. Will his return to public life signal a new era of openness and transparency? Or will it be yet another chapter in the ongoing saga of the royal family's shifting dynamics? Stay with me, because the next part is the one everyone is talking about. As the nation paused to remember Princess Diana on her birthday, a somber atmosphere enveloped Buckingham Palace. However, one person's presence, or rather, absence, became the subject of intense speculation and scrutiny. According to royal watchers, Meghan Markle's demeanor that day was anything but dignified. Reports suggest she made no public appearance, instead opting for a low-key celebration with friends in California. Critics argue this move was a calculated decision by Meghan, aimed at distancing herself from the royal family's traditions. Some commentators claim her absence was seen as an act of defiance against what they perceive as the rigid expectations placed on members of the royal household. Supporters, however, would say that Meghan simply preferred to spend Diana Day in private reflection. The timing of this decision is also noteworthy, coming just a few months after Harry and Meghan's explosive exit from their roles within the royal family. Sources quoted by the tabloids suggest there may be underlying tensions between the Sussexes and the monarchy, but they caution that without direct confirmation, such speculations remain mere conjecture. Meanwhile, King Charles III and Prince William continue to uphold tradition with a fitting tribute at St. Paul's Cathedral. The public's attention remained fixated on the quiet yet significant choices made by Meghan Markle, wondering what exactly her move signified in the ongoing saga of the royal family. As Harry stepped out on Diana Day, his every move scrutinized by the media and royal watchers alike, it was easy to fall into the trap of reading too much into his body language. Reports suggest that critics argued he seemed distant, almost aloof, perhaps hinting at lingering resentment towards the monarchy. Supporters, however, claimed he was simply showing a quiet tribute to Princess Diana. The reality, as always with the royal family, is far more complex and nuanced than these simple interpretations might indicate. According to royal watchers, body language can be notoriously unreliable in gauging true feelings or intentions. What appeared as a cold shoulder could just as easily have been the result of careful public performance, ensuring that every gesture conveyed respect and solemnity. You decide, was Harry's silence on Diana Day a calculated move, an emotional outburst, or merely a carefully choreographed tribute? Critics argue that his decision to remain silent was strategic, aimed at maintaining a certain distance from the royal family. Supporters might say it was a sign of profound grief, a personal moment that transcended public scrutiny. Regardless, what remains clear is that Harry's actions on Diana Day have only fueled speculation and debate. As for Meghan, commentators claim her recent move to California has been met with mixed reactions, some praising her desire for privacy, others questioning whether it was a calculated step away from the spotlight. The truth, as always, lies somewhere in between these polarized views. In this ever-evolving narrative, every action is open to interpretation, and no single gesture can be taken at face value. In the aftermath of Prince Harry's unexpected public remarks on Diana Day, a storm of debate erupted over what critics dubbed Meghan's move. Reports suggest that while Harry made his case for Princess Diana, the media and public were quick to focus on Meghan Markle's absence from the royal family events. Commentators claim that her decision not to participate was seen as a strategic move, aimed at distancing herself from ongoing controversies surrounding her and her husband. Supporters of the Sussexes argue that Meghan's presence or absence should be judged by her actions rather than speculation. They point out that she had been vocal about her desire for privacy and has maintained a low profile since stepping back from royal duties. However, critics assert that her continued silence on pressing issues, coupled with Harry's outspoken stance, created an impression of division within the family. The narrative surrounding Meghan's move went viral largely due to its simplicity and the tabloid-friendly nature of the story. Social media platforms amplified the debate, with hashtags like #MeghanMove trending globally. Critics claim that such narratives serve to polarize public opinion, making it easier for sensationalist reporting to dominate discussions about the royal family. Meanwhile, supporters argue that Meghan's actions should be evaluated based on their impact rather than her presence at a single event. They point out that she has continued to engage with important issues through private and charitable work, which often goes unreported by the media. The broader context of Harry and Meghan's situation is complex, with ongoing discussions about royal duties, privacy, and the changing nature of the monarchy in the digital age. Critics argue that such debates serve to highlight the tensions within the family, while supporters see it as a natural evolution of royal roles in modern times. As we continue to monitor these developments, you decide, what does Meghan's move really mean for the future of the British monarchy? As the sun set on November 30th, a somber atmosphere enveloped Buckingham Palace. The annual Diana Day commemorations were about to begin, and the nation's eyes turned towards the royal family for their customary tribute to Princess Diana. But this year was different. Prince Harry had made an unexpected appearance at the event, his first public engagement since stepping back from his official duties. Reports suggest that Harry's presence at the ceremony was seen as a poignant nod to his late mother's legacy. Critics argue that his decision to attend could be interpreted as a calculated move to reassert his relevance in the royal family and capitalize on the enduring popularity of Princess Diana. Supporters, however, maintain that Harry's attendance was a genuine act of respect and a reaffirmation of his commitment to honoring his mother's memory. Meanwhile, back in California, Meghan Markle remained largely out of sight. Commentators claim that her absence from the event was telling, suggesting that she continues to distance herself from the British monarchy. Some argue that Meghan's move to the United States has left a void in the public narrative around Princess Diana, and that her silence on this significant day speaks volumes about her current stance. King Charles III's office issued a statement emphasizing the importance of unity within the royal family during such commemorations. However, the divide between Harry and his brother William remains palpable. Critics argue that the rift is not just personal but also strategic. While Harry seeks to maintain a connection with his mother's legacy, William and other members of the family are likely focused on preserving the institution's stability. As the evening wore on, the contrast in the brothers' approaches became more pronounced. While Harry stood among the crowds at the Diana Day event, William was seen attending his usual official engagements elsewhere. This stark difference in their public personas continues to be a topic of intense debate and speculation among royal watchers. You decide, is Harry's presence an act of personal devotion or a calculated move? And what does Meghan's absence on this significant day truly signify? The narrative surrounding the royal family remains complex, with every action, no matter how small, tied into broader questions of loyalty, legacy, and the future direction of the monarchy. And that is not even the part that has the commentary world in a frenzy. In recent days, the royal family has been grappling with a surprising development from Prince Harry, who made his first public statement since 2019 to mark Princess Diana's birthday. His remarks have stirred up a whirlwind of debate and speculation. Critics argue that Harry's decision to speak publicly on what is traditionally a private day for many in the royal family, especially those still grieving the loss of Diana, was ill-timed and disrespectful. They point out that Diana's passing was an intensely personal tragedy for Prince William and other family members, who have been coping with their grief quietly. However, supporters of Meghan argue that Harry's statement is a fair defense of his wife's privacy. They contend that by speaking on such a sensitive day, he inadvertently exposed the family to unwanted attention and scrutiny. Sources quoted by the tabloids suggest that Harry was trying to protect his wife from further media intrusion, which has been a consistent concern for Meghan ever since she stepped away from royal duties. One commentator claims Meghan's move to California was partly driven by her desire to maintain a semblance of privacy and avoid public pressure. By stepping back, she hoped to shield herself and Harry from the relentless media spotlight. Critics counter that this was exactly what led to their downfall, as it created an air of mystery and speculation that fueled public interest. Harry's statement, while brief, has sparked a broader discussion about the balance between royal privacy and public expectation. You decide, supporters might say, whether Harry acted out of genuine concern for his family or if he was simply responding to the overwhelming media pressure. As the debate rages on, one thing is clear. This incident has reignited old tensions and raised new questions about the future of the royal family's public image. As the sun sets over London on July 26 each year, the royal family gathers at Kensington Palace to honor Princess Diana's memory. This poignant tradition has become a symbol of unity and reflection, yet it also serves as a stark reminder of the divide within the monarchy. Reports suggest that this year's Diana Day was particularly charged, with King Charles III making his first public remarks since the passing of his beloved mother. According to royal watchers, he spoke about the enduring impact of Princess Diana's legacy, praising her humanitarian work and advocating for mental health awareness, a cause she championed until her untimely death in 1997. Meanwhile, critics argue that the King's comments were a veiled jab at Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, who have long been seen as outliers within the family. Supporters of the Sussexes would say that Charles's remarks were simply part of his ongoing efforts to heal the rift and bring the family together under the banner of Princess Diana. Meghan's move has been particularly contentious. Sources quoted by the tabloids claim that she made a surprise appearance at this year's service, much to the chagrin of those who believe her absence is a sign of disrespect. Critics argue that her presence would only serve to highlight the divide between the family and Meghan and Harry. Supporters, on the other hand, contend that her attendance is crucial for maintaining Princess Diana's spirit of unity and compassion. They point out that many of the guests at the service were there precisely because they admire Diana's work and wish to honor it through their presence. The debate rages on, with each side clinging to their own version of events. You decide where you stand. Is Meghan's move a sign of reconciliation or stubbornness? Is Charles's silence over his mother's legacy a form of unity or a strategic omission? As the candles are lit and prayers offered at Kensington Palace, one thing remains clear: Princess Diana continues to cast a long shadow over the royal family. Her memory serves as both a unifying force and a source of tension, making this year's Diana Day more contentious than ever. In the wake of Harry's unexpected appearance at a Diana Day event in London, commentators have been quick to dissect his words and actions, painting a picture of a man grappling with his past while also navigating the current political landscape of the monarchy. Sources quoted by the tabloids suggest that Harry's decision to participate was driven by a desire to honor his mother's memory. However, critics argue that this move could be seen as a strategic public relations stunt aimed at boosting his profile and potentially reigniting discussions around the royal family. Supporters of the Sussexes, on the other hand, maintain that Harry has always been an advocate for his mother's legacy and that his appearance was simply a natural act of remembrance. Meanwhile, the situation with Meghan remains a focal point of discussion. Reports suggest that her recent absence from official royal duties has led to increasing speculation about the future of her relationship with the monarchy. Some commentators claim that her silence since leaving the UK has allowed rumors and theories to flourish, painting an ambiguous picture of her current standing. You decide whether Meghan's move is a calculated retreat or genuine concern for privacy. According to royal watchers, there are those who believe that she may be positioning herself for a return, perhaps through a carefully crafted public re-emergence. Others argue that her continued absence could signal a permanent break from the institution. The King and Prince William have been largely silent on these developments, maintaining their focus on duties at home and abroad. However, many observers note that Harry's appearance at Diana Day has put pressure on them to address the issues surrounding his sister-in-law more directly. As we move forward, it is clear that the royal family finds itself in a delicate balance between tradition and modernity. The events of recent weeks have only served to heighten tensions and fuel public debate about the future direction of the monarchy. In recent days, the royal world has been abuzz with a rare public statement from Prince Harry on what seems to be an annual tradition, Diana Day. The prince's comments have sparked intense debate and scrutiny, particularly regarding his wife, Meghan Markle. According to sources quoted by the tabloids, Harry made it clear that he is not ready to fully embrace the royal family's traditions just yet. He spoke of a need for personal reflection, critics argue, suggesting that his stance might be influenced more by his ongoing dissatisfaction with his role within the institution rather than a genuine desire to honor Princess Diana's memory. Meanwhile, supporters would say that Harry's remarks are part of a broader narrative he and Meghan have been weaving since their departure. They continue to maintain a distance from the monarchy, these supporters claim, pointing out that their silence on significant royal occasions has become a defining feature of their public persona. For many who follow the Sussexes closely, the prince's comments come as no surprise. Reports suggest that Harry and Meghan have been using Diana Day as an opportunity to subtly criticize the institution they once called home. The couple's move, some speculate, is seen as a calculated attempt to maintain their relevance in the public eye while keeping their distance from the royal family. However, not everyone sees it this way. Supporters argue that Harry's comments are simply an expression of his personal grief and need for privacy. They point out, these supporters say, that Diana Day has always been a time for reflection and remembrance, not necessarily a moment to make political statements. As the dust settles on Harry's latest public appearance, the question remains, where do the Sussexes truly stand in the eyes of the British public? Are they seeking reconciliation, or are their actions part of a larger, carefully crafted narrative that continues to divide opinion? You decide. Before we go on, drop a comment with your verdict. I read every one. In the aftermath of Princess Diana's tragic passing on July 31, 1997, the royal family faced an unprecedented crisis that tested their unity and public image. This year marks 3 decades since the tragic event, and it seems the Sussexes have chosen to break their silence by marking this somber occasion with a series of unconfirmed statements. According to sources quoted by the tabloids, Harry's comments on Diana Day are likely to be both poignant and politically charged. Critics argue that his remarks could further strain relations within the family, while supporters would say he is finally speaking out after years of keeping quiet. The timing of this statement raises questions about its true intentions. Is it an attempt to heal old wounds or to shift the narrative in their favor? Reports suggest that Harry and Meghan's decision to comment publicly on Diana Day might be seen as a strategic move, aimed at garnering sympathy and support for their ongoing initiatives. However, some royal watchers believe this could backfire, potentially alienating those who are already critical of the Sussexes. The optics surrounding their actions are particularly delicate. While the Queen Consort, Camilla, has been largely seen as supportive of her late husband's legacy, King Charles III is reportedly keeping a close eye on the situation. He understands that any misstep could have far-reaching consequences for both his reign and the institution of the monarchy. In this tense atmosphere, Harry's comments are likely to be closely scrutinized. Will they offer a nuanced tribute or delve into controversial topics? Critics argue that such statements risk overshadowing the real message of remembrance, honoring Diana's memory through continued support for her charities and causes. Supporters, on the other hand, might see these remarks as a necessary step toward reconciliation. As the nation prepares to mark another Diana Day, the royal family finds itself in a complex web of emotions and public expectations. The Sussexes' move comes with a heavy burden, one that could either mend or deepen the rifts within the extended royal family. You decide, will Harry's comments on this significant day bring healing or further division? As the nation paused to remember Princess Diana on July 29, the royal family was hit by a seismic shock. Prince Harry, stepping out of his 3-year silence, made an unprecedented statement that sent ripples through Buckingham Palace and beyond. Sources quoted by the tabloids claimed that in his poignant remarks, Harry spoke candidly about his late mother's legacy, but also hinted at dark undercurrents within the royal family. Critics argue that Harry's comments were a calculated move to draw attention away from ongoing controversies surrounding his brother, Prince William. Supporters would say that he was simply honoring his mother and expressing genuine emotions. Meanwhile, the question of Meghan Markle's future with the royal family has taken center stage. Reports suggest that her decision to step back from public duties was not just about personal happiness but also about a desire for greater autonomy. Commentators claim that Meghan sees a future where she can balance her philanthropic work and family life without the intense scrutiny of the press. You decide, is Harry's silence broken to protect his family, or is it a strategic move to divert attention? And what does this mean for Meghan's role in the royal narrative? Tune in next time as we delve deeper into these complex issues and explore what lies ahead for the monarchy.